What was your favorite phone?
Oh, it's what's the name? Sidekick.
Sidekick?
T-Mobile Sidekick.
Well, that goes way back.
Oh, but it was so great because you opened it up and you had the full keyboard, and you could type super fast, and it had Snake. Remember Snake?
Oh, yeah, Snake.
I mean,
yeah, Snake.
You don't need all these apps, these Angry Birds and Fandangle apps. I had Snake and a full keyboard.
Do you play Snake on that Samsung you have?
No, I don't think it has access to it.
Oh, it doesn't have access to anything. Okay.
I have AT&T. I was down for a little bit this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you have a crappy phone and crappy self-service. There goes that proposal at AT&T. Mine was a pink Razor phone.
Like, okay, the Razor?
Yes.
The standard?
The Motorola Razor.
Okay.
And see, what they did is they came out with the Paris Hilton version.
Ooh, that's hot.
It was hot. And they sent it to me free. So that this way I would say that I had a Motorola Razor phone.
Right.
And I loved that phone. I did.
Do you remember the phone that you gave my ex-wife?
No.
It was about the size of a child's eraser. And it was a flip phone. And the numbers were so small, you had to like shave your nails down
in order to
actually press them.
Did Ainsley use it?
Yeah, she used it for a year.
Okay, well, there's a new phone that's coming out in October, and I'm thinking about getting it.
Okay.
Okay, it's hot pink.
Okay.
They say that it's going to replace your smartphone. And so it's like when you want to have a phone, but you don't want to be like tied to a smartphone. And here, take a look at it. I think I should get this. What do you think?
I mean, it's just a basic flip phone.
It's the Barbie phone.
Oh, it's got a touchscreen, though.
Yes, it has a T9 keyboard.
Okay.
It has no third-party apps. It's basically just kind of a built-in phone. You could take basic pictures. That's it.
It's just a flip phone. I mean, this is not new.
It's the Barbie phone.
They're slapping the word Barbie on technology from 2002.
And people are like lining up to buy it.
Of course they are, because people are suckers.
It's a barbecue.
For people who are not a fan of the British culture, a Q is also a line.
Oh, that was so funny.
I liked it.
Okay.
You're not getting that phone. There's no way you would give up your iPhone for that.
No, I would never do that. But I think it'd be like kind of a cute thing to carry it around.
You'd use it one time.
That's true. Where's my Apple Watch?
That's right. It'd be sitting right next to your Barbie phone.
I know. And I look at that Apple Watch. I'm like, you know what? I should put that on. But, when I put it on, I get too obsessed.
Yeah, because you're just constantly, and I mean, you're a successful, busy business go-getter, so you're getting buzzed all day long.
Oh, yeah, I don't need that.
We don't allow you to have your...
Buzzed as in, not buzzed like...
Yes, alerts, notifications.
Buzzed happens later in the day.
Right, all night long is that buzzed. We don't even allow you to have your phone in the studio.
No,
because it's too much of a nuisance.
It goes off.
Yeah.
I mean, and John even set up like recording mode. So like nobody gets through. I don't know how, but people still get through. I'm not sure. And I'm supposed to be the digital goddess.
Right.
Just can't. So I just like turn it off. That's
we'll never go back to flip phones. That's going to be a nice chunk of money for whatever company's making it, because no one's going to use it.
But the kids will like it.
Yeah. I tried to sell my Apple Watch because, I have this
great
Samsung phone. Now, they're not worth anything on the secondary market.
How much are you going to get for it?
$40.
That's not even worth putting it up there.
No, I'm just going to leave it in the drawer. Let my kids play with it.
In the drawer.
The drawer. My robot's in the drawer.
Okay, because if you're new to the Komando Today podcast, this is Andrew's attempt at humor by making fun of me.
Yeah.
Because I have a New Jersey accent. So I say things like robot.
The robots are taking over.
My Apple Watch is in the drawer. I'm going to the Guardia. I can't help it.
It's cute. It's not making fun of you. I'm laughing with you.
No, you're not.
At you. Okay,
laughing at me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, look at me. I'm shocked.
You're not. Are you going to go there?
No,
okay.
I'm not going there.
I just wanted to know.
Not going there at all, because it's Komando Today, your podcast about all things digital. And I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 16 right now. Andrew, you're not eligible to win because you actually work for the show.
You're not going to give away the Barbie phone?
No.
No?
Nobody wants a Barbie phone.
Nobody wants it.
The iPhone 16 is valued at up to $1,500, and you can enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. I think I look smart in glasses.
No, yeah. You always look great. But you do look good in glasses.
Can I tell you about my eye experience? We haven't talked about this on the show.
Is this the post?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I got my contact lens, and I didn't want to put it in because I thought, it's good. It's very difficult to put this lens in.
It's not like a regular contact lens.
No, it's called a sclera lens.
Okay.
And so if you picture the pupil of your eye and the iris, okay, it goes over that and it goes like way on each side. I mean, like maybe like a quarter of an inch.
So we're talking about it's much larger than a regular contact.
Huge.
Okay.
And it's also it's gas permeable, but it's a hard lens.
Okay.
So to put this in, you have to put it on a plunger. A little tiny plunger, and then you put the lens on top.
I didn't think it was going to be a real big toilet
I'm just
plunger.
making it sure. Sometimes you're not with me.
Hold on, I'll be there in a second.
Oh God, let me use it in the toilet. I better disinfect that before I use it next time.
All right, it's a little tiny plunger.
Little tiny plunger.
I apologize.
And then you have to fill it up with all this I don't know, whatever fluid that you put in there.
Stiff.
Stuff. And then you have to lean over and you take the plunger and you open up your eye.
Okay. With your third hand?
Yes. Okay. Using like 3 or 4 fingers.
Right.
Okay. And so you have to make sure so basically you have to pull all the skin off. And then you put your eye down and you lower yourself into this.
Oh, you go down to it instead of it coming up to the eye.
Oh, no. Your head has to be parallel to the desk,
okay,
or whatever you're doing it, wherever you do it, and then so you have to put your head. I mean, it's just kind of like this whole convoluted thing.
After I hear this, I'm just thinking, be blind.
Well, that's why I was kind of like, this may not be something that I can use all the time.
Can you sleep in it?
No.
Do you need the plunger to remove it?
Yes.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
And but it's a little plunger to remove it, not a big one. Just a little tiny baby plunger. So I was watching YouTube on how to get the lens in and out, and then this guy, whoever it was, talked about there's this new device that you can do, and the device holds it with the plunger with the lens out, and also so I tried that, and that is amazing.
So you did get the device?
Yes.
Okay.
It was like $400.
Whoa, that's not cheap.
Yeah, not at all. And so what I've done is I've figured out how to use this device, and it's a lot easier than trying to open your eyeball up and use you said 3 fingers. So on Saturday, I went to my Pilates class, which I told you. I went yesterday too, by the way. I'm getting a little bit better.
That's awesome.
And then Barry was on the phone, and I came downstairs, and I said, I said, "Who are you talking to?" And he said, "Jason." I said, "Stand up. Let me see you." And he's like, "What?" I said, "Just stand up. Let me see you." He stands up. And honest to God, he's smaller than I thought he was.
Because now you have real vision.
Yes.
You learned he's an Oompa Loompa.
He's 4'2".
He's not that
No, he's not that short.
That's hilarious.
I like when we're out and he's like, "I'm 5'10". I'm like, "You are not. You're 5'7".
You're going to see so many. It's a whole new world. You're going to see everything differently.
So, but see, part of my brain isn't working, which everybody around me is like, "Oh no,
more work for us."
Yeah, what's going to happen now? Our whole brain is not working. So,
because you're learning to see this new way, that's why it's not working.
No, the way that the doctor explained it to me is that for the last 40 years, this eye has not had to work.
Right.
And so it kind of went to sleep. And so now it's with the contact lens on and with the transplant, it's it's going and the neurons are not really meeting each other.
Are they going to eventually?
Yes. So when I put it on Saturday, I immediately had double vision.
Okay.
And I was getting a little vertigo, but I was standing there looking at the view from our house, and I just couldn't stop crying. I mean, I really literally could not stop crying.
Congratulations.
Because it was I could see colors. Things are so much brighter. I saw our IT genius, John. He was at the house yesterday, and I looked down and said, and he was working in the server room. And I said, "Hey, John, let me see you." And he's like, he looks at me like what?
Do I call HR?
And then he's looking at me like, "What?" I said, "Oh, I got my contact lens." I said, "John, you are handsome." Oh my gosh!
This whole time I thought you were ugly.
No, but it's things aren't flat.
Sure.
things are crystal clear. It's
Did you post the letter everywhere?
no, just on Instagram.
Okay, so go to Instagram, Kim Commando's Instagram page.
Yes.
Read the letter that she wrote to her doctor. If you can read it and you don't get emotional, you are not a human.
And he wrote me back,
Oh, nice.
and he said something like, "It was my honor, and I hope that you use your new vision to do even more great things for the world and helping people." It was just so nice, so nice. So then I put the contact lens on. I went to Pilates yesterday after work.
With the contact on?
No.
Okay.
I'm lucky I
You're
can't
not ready?
even. I'm lucky I can get my butt off the ground.
Stairs are a struggle. Let's not do the workout program.
I'm getting a little bit better. Although I was next to a ballerina yesterday. And you know what? You ought not to do Pilates next to a ballerina
Yeah,
who's
you're-
like this thin and her toes are curling in.
You're
and,
only going to feel awful about
I
yourself.
know, I'm looking at myself like, man, I got to lose a ton of weight.
Wait a minute, though. With the glasses, it's not comparable to
No, because
the contact?
there's no glass on this side.
Oh, okay.
So I do need a little. I can see close up, but I can't see far away. On my left eye, not too much.
What's the time frame where you're daily wearer and it's perfect all the time?
I'm not really sure
Okay.
because they really don't want me to wear any eye makeup with it.
No, and you need that.
Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate that. Yes, he's always for me. He's helping me. He's always got my back. But I wore it last night out to dinner.
And?
I walked into Ocean's 44, and I was like, "Look at all the cooks! Wow, is that a piece of Is that a salmon? It is. It's really
That's so cool.
wild.
I mean, when you see all those videos that were, the baby get the cochlear implant and the baby hears for the first time, you're experiencing
I
that.
am. It is so wild. It is so wild. And so so I was looking at my new car and my Porsche.
And then you saw the bill and you're like, I paid that much for this thing?
I actually looked on the back of the car where it says Porsche 911 Turbo S, and I was like, I didn't know those letters were raised.
Wow, that's so cool.
It is. It's really wild.
You're like a kid in a candy store.
I know. So I go home and I'm like, I got to put my lens in. So I can wear it up to like 2-4 hours a day, 2 to 4 hours a day. The goal is to get it to 14 hours a day. Which I'll wear it. So I'm thinking like, I'm just going to do the podcast one day. Just no eye makeup and everybody's just going to have to deal with it because who cares?
Yeah, it's the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody pays attention to the internet anyway. Hey, please, if you could, like this podcast.
Comment, share.
Comment, share, subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. Helps the algorithm. And we want everybody to see Kim without makeup on the internet.
I have some Instagram pictures I put up without makeup.
Oh, you do all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
it's
don't.
no
I
big
mean,
deal.
I'm not. I don't always look this good.
No. Sometimes better.
All right. So I saw this TikTok video of a woman who claims that she's been hacked
Okay.
and that they are in her TV entering her passwords. And she's really upset about it. This video has gotten 1.1 million views.
Ooh.
Here, take a look. Not
That's a
that one.
chair.
Look, how do they know my passcode? How do they know?
Well, now we
Now
all
they're
know
just
your
typing it in and
passcode.
typing it in and typing it in. How do they know? And I got the remote right here, not touching nothing. Xfinity allowed my information to be breached, and now I have someone in a different country hacking my box and talking to me through my remote. Look
Okay.
at this. Look at this.
So it goes on and
Yeah.
on, and she's blaming Xfinity. She's going to call police, she says.
Yeah, she did try to tell the person that was hacking it in real time that she's going to get them in trouble. No.
So now this happened to your son.
Yeah, so at his mom's house, his mom's boyfriend has 3 boys.
Do you
And-
like his? Do you like her boyfriend?
Yeah, he's a good, great guy.
So
Hi,
how,
Mark.
how are you different from the boyfriend?
He's handsome, and he's with my wife. No, so there's 4 boys, and they all play Xbox at the same time in the same room.
Okay.
So there's 4 TVs, and they turn on all the machines, and they're going to do a big Fortnite session. And when my son turns his on, immediately the password screen comes up, and the password was entered. And then the game starts. And then he goes to the Microsoft Store. And then a game starts getting downloaded. So quickly panics, turns it off, unplugs it from the internet. Go to the router, unplug the router, reset the router, because they immediately call me because, that's just what happens. And I'm like, all right, go to the router, set the password. If it's someone locally,
Right.
they may be getting through your router.
Okay, could be.
And that's a step. They go back, turn the Xbox on. He's still there, controlling everything. Now, I know it's a he because a woman would never do this. So he's got to, in my opinion, and you can correct me, he's got to be into the hardware of the device and controlling it from somewhere else.
Correct.
I don't think it's a software thing. I think whatever access point he has, it's in the hardware.
Correct.
So they unplugged it, put it in a closet. It sat there. It was going to come over to my house so I could test it and try to figure it out.
The Xbox.
The Xbox.
Not the child.
Correct. He sleeps in the garage.
Back shed. Don't lie.
And before they were going to bring it over, they waited like a couple of weeks. And I'm like, you know what? He might be gone. He may be bored. And his fun little prank is over. They plugged it back in. Everything's fine.
Oh.
Changed all the passwords. All the security has changed. So he might show back up. But that I absolutely believe that someone was inside of her box.
Well, the Xbox.
Yeah. Well, her cable box. I did hear kids in the background.
But where she's like, Xfinity breached me. No, Xfinity did not breach you. So, word to the wise is, make sure that you change the default password on your Wi-Fi. Get a good Xbox password. What else? Anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Because
That's all.
once they're in, if they have some sort of spyware or malware or whatever, once they get it in on the Xbox, they can hang on his mind. The guy, once we changed the password, he couldn't access past the first screen because he didn't have that information because we changed it. So then he was just mad. So he was just entering 350 straight twos because he knew he didn't have the access and we blocked it. And he got bored and he went away. So just put your cable box in the closet for a week.
Some good news from the FBI.
Yeah.
They caught a scammer.
Okay.
He's going to be spending, 20 years in jail.
That's a lot.
He was making, you ready for it? $400,000 a month.
Doing what?
Hacking people, putting things saying oh, your Windows computer is running slow and we can fix it for you. $400,000 a month.
Are we ever getting to the point where people stop falling for this stuff? We've got a story later in the show today. An educated CEO of a bank
Yes.
fell victim to an online scam.
Well, that story's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. This one's over the top.
You're not going to believe this one. Speaking of money, Jeff needs some money.
Okay. Who's Jeff?
Jeff Bezos.
Oh, he's got a lot of money.
No, he needs more money.
He's almost got the most money.
He's going to buy the Boston Celtics.
I heard that Bill Simmons was just trying to get clicks on the internet. And none of it's true.
I don't know. I guess Jeff is into football.
It's basketball, but we'll carry on.
I knew that.
What does Jeff need more money from?
Your Amazon Echo device. We talked about just the Echo Show was going to. Well, now Amazon, they're really going to charge all Echo devices $10 a month.
$10 a month?
For you to get the latest briefing, the weather, the sports, your favorite recipes,
Is
advice,
Prime even $10 a month?
jokes. Prime's like $140 a year.
So $12 a month. Okay, so now you're doubling up just to use the Echo.
I don't think I like it that much.
No, heck no. It doesn't do enough.
Not
it
at all.
turns on my lights, or I have Google. Well, that's Google's next. Google's not going to sit there and let Jeff have this business model, and they're not just going to copy and paste it. So the Google Home will be next.
Exactly. And when you go to the office, do you leave an OOO?
No.
No.
I hate those. You send an email to someone, and then immediately you get the kickback. Oh, I'm out of the office for the next 8 minutes. There's no reason for you to do this. You also have your email on your phone. You're not ever away from your email.
Well, some people now, when they go on vacation, there's a new trend.
Okay.
They actually disconnect. They don't check their email, but they leave really interesting messages.
I can tell by you look on your face. This is very interesting. Okay.
The average number of emails that people get a day is about 121 messages.
Okay.
So the Wall Street Journal did a whole story about this. And like one guy, Barry Ritholtz, is a chief investment officer in New York.
Big job.
And he's got a good one. He says, I'm out of the office. I'm not checking emails. I'm avoiding texts, ignoring Slack, letting calls go to voicemail. I'm going off the grid, and I am generally unreachable. And so this is my autoresponder, and so it is auto-responding.
120 times a day.
Boom, 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 boom. Okay.
Do you do that when you're away?
No, I'm still working.
Okay, so yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
You don't need it.
So, you know, what is that song? It says, I don't care.
I love it.
I don't care.
I'm out of the office.
Exactly. That's what it is. This is when I went to Reddit and I said, what is the most popular out of the office message? Okay. So here, I'm gonna read it and then you get to sing it. Okay. I'm out of the office, but I got me a cubicle, awards on the wall, send me an email, maybe I'll call.
'Cause I don't care. I'm out of the office.
I make spreadsheets. My boss can't wait. Writes me in appraisals. Tells me I'm great.
'Cause I don't care.
But then says I'm lazy. I take too much time. I keep going to work, but I don't know why. 'Cause
I don't care. That's good. I like that.
Okay.
I would encourage that one.
Okay. 120 times a day.
Well, that's too much.
Okay. Now, if you actually put all that there, but when you came back from the office, you'd be on a pip. I don't care.
I'm on a pip.
I don't care. I love it.
That's funny.
Hey, don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter. You're going to love it because if you're not tech ahead, you're going to be tech left behind. And it's absolutely free. Go to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Join over 500,000 folks who get tech smart every single day at getkim.com. I think David's coming out. Is David here?
You want to jump to the banker?
Yeah, but
Okay.
let me do a little intro here.
Yeah. Do you want? Okay, yeah.
What are you licking your lips for like that?
They were dry.
Over here, like chapstick?
Yeah. Do you want me to go get chapstick? I can do that. I can go take a break and get some chapstick.
Go to CBS right across the street.
Problem solved.
Gross. I can't unsee that. That was disgusting.
All right. Segment 3 right here.
2.
Oh, whatever.
It's Kim Komando Today. It's your fun podcast about all things digital. If you have not already, make sure that you enter to win the brand new iPhone 16 over at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right.
Stop me if you've heard this one. Someone got scammed in a pig butchering scam on the internet.
No.
Yeah, it happened. This one's crazy, though. We got a 53-year-old CEO of a bank.
Okay. One just does not become the CEO of a bank.
No. You're highly educated,
Right.
very experienced in the field of economics. I mean, it's a bank, not a food bank, not a blood bank, a bank.
Money bank.
Gets an email on WhatsApp that says, hey, we got this amazing investment opportunity. You give us the money. We promise 15 to 35% returns. So he takes a little bit of money and he sends it over.
Okay.
Man, he cleaned up,
Really?
made a ton.
Jeez.
So he took, instead of a little bit of his money, he took all of his money and he sent it over, hoping to get that same return. But that wasn't enough. So then he went to his church.
He went to the church.
Yes.
And then what? And I'm sure everybody trusted him because he's a banker.
Who else would know better than the CEO of the local bank?
Exactly.
They took all their money, handed it over to him. He was going to take a little bit off the top, but he promised them that he would get them their return. That wasn't enough. He went to his local investment club and convinced all of them.
No.
I'm not done. I'm not even close to done. He then emptied out all of his children's college education funds and sent it over to the scammer.
Okay. Somebody that he met in WhatsApp.
Correct. One message that he got in WhatsApp. So then he went to his neighbor and he was like, hey, neighbor, I'm in kind of deep on this investment opportunity, but I am going to make so much freaking money. Could I get a loan for $12 million?
His neighbor?
Yeah. Yes, this neighbor.
For $12 million.
Correct. A loan, which he would pay back
Okay.
at a small interest rate because he was going to make 35% on the return. His neighbor's like, you're getting scammed. No, you don't understand. I've already gotten some of my money back. This is amazing. I'm going to be so stupid rich, it's not even funny. And his neighbor's like, no, you're getting scammed.
Oh, God.
Stop giving them money. So he heard that advice and he took it inside himself. And then he said, what I need to do is take all of my bank's money and invest it.
Okay.
13 wire transfers over an 18-month period, $47.5 million.
No.
Gone.
$47 million?
Can you believe this?
We are in the wrong business.
So he gets charged, obviously, because he was taking money from the bank. He was directing his employees to do this, too. It's not like he was doing it on the down low. He was sending out company-wide emails. He was sending instructions to his employees that we are investing this bank's money. The bank fell apart. It's gone.
You know what happened? Well, the FDIC insured the accounts.
Possibly some of it.
Up to $250,000 per account.
$9 million in the end was lost. So the customers of the bank did lose $9 million. They're not going to get it back.
No, they're never going to get it back.
It's going to be gone. Obviously, they're going to fight for it all there, whatever. They're never going to get it back. And he's going to jail for 24 years.
Wow, $47.5 million.
Greed is not good.
Took the church's money.
Everybody.
Now, have you ever had a friend of yours ask you for money?
Yeah. And I found out the person was a degenerate gambler, and I didn't know that at the time. And I was very young. I'd probably been in radio for 2 years, so 20 years old. And I had no money, zero money. At the end, after I paid all my bills, I had $36 left.
Because radio, it didn't pay. I was making $50 a week at
Exactly.
KFYI. I mean, honest to God, $50 a week.
Yeah, I was probably making $9 an hour. And he comes up to me in the hallway. He was a friend of mine, and we were very friendly. And he comes up to me, and he goes, hey, I need $500. And I was like, what do you need it for? He's like, I have to pay it today. I won't get my money until tomorrow. If you could give me $500, then I will pay you back literally tomorrow. And I was like, fine. So he followed me to the bank. I had $508 in my account. I took out $500.
Oh.
I gave it to him. Next day he comes back and he gives me $600. And he's like, thank you so much. He must have won.
Right.
Because if he's a gambler and lost it all, then we're going to have excuses.
Exactly.
Now, we have a common friend. His name's
Yes.
Bart. Do you know the Bart story?
No.
Same guy then goes to Bart and says, hey, I know you're looking for a car. I have someone who's selling a RAV4. It's worth $22,000. They only want $16,000 for it. And Bart's like, absolutely. Goes and gets him a cashier's check, hands him $16,000. Poof. Gone.
No.
Disappears. Bart's out all the money. This guy's disappeared. Fast forward 3 years later,
He calls Bart up. I need more money.
driving down the road, he's now working at a different radio station down the street doing news.
Oh.
Bart calls the cops. Cops go in during his air shift
Yes.
and arrest him.
Good.
So happy ending in the end. But yeah, I borrowed a degenerate gambler money. I was one of the lucky ones who got it back.
You are. Well,
You must get requests for money all the time.
yeah, I have. I'm not going to say who it is, but I had a somebody in the radio industry,
Okay.
prominent name,
Okay.
call me up and say, "Would you loan me $8 million?"
What?
That's what I said. What?
Does it rhyme with bonfanity?
And I said, "What do you need it for?"
Oh, good. You're getting some information. At least you're having fun with it. Because there's no way she's actually loading this.
No,
person
there's no
$8
way.
million.
There's no way. So I said, and I don't want to say a he or she.
Okay.
So let's
They.
okay, we'll go with they, pronouns. Okay. So they say that they're trying to sell their house and they want to buy a new house because the current house is going to sell like this.
Of course.
And the new house is going to sell like this.
Okay.
The one that they want to buy. And so I could, if I just give them the $8 million and they can go buy the new house while their current house is still for sale.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how close are you to this person?
A 5.
How do people have, if you have a 5 relationship with someone, how do they have the gonads to ask them for $8 million?
So So they explained everything to me.
Right.
And I said, well, if I were you, I would not buy the house until I sell my current house.
But they're going to miss out, Kim.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
She-
Oh.
Sorry. And so I told them
Cat's out the bag.
okay, that they should call their financial advisor and get a line of credit.
Sure. Get a HELOC or whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
Something. And
Not the International Bank of Kim.
I just like, and so I'm sitting there and I hang up with them.
Was Delilah mad that you wouldn't give her the money?
And Barry said, what's wrong? I said, you're not going to believe who just asked me for $8 million.
That's insane.
Oh, sure. Here, let me just come right on over.
Were you at least going to make any money? Like, was there interest attached to it?
I didn't even get that far.
You would never see that money again.
Uh-uh.
Or maybe, $150 a month payments for the rest of the millennia.
And my after I did that, you know what I did?
What?
I
Went and bought their house underneath them?
No, I blocked them.
I would too.
Okay, like text, phone.
People are just brave.
I guess they figured like, what the heck? I mean,
You could ruin a friendship.
there was no real
Yeah,
friendship.
it's a
to me.
5. Yeah, you can ruin a 5. No
And
big deal.
I didn't even really want to be friends with this person.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you say our friendship is?
Ours is about an 8 or 9.
Oh, I need $8 million. Got a better chance than that lady. I'm an 8.
I want to be queen too.
Ain't happening.
Get my royal wave.
Dang it. Well, we got to get him in here. Sort of set up for the next segment. Oh, sure.
Well, that was a good natural transition, though.
Yeah. It was
So
good
we
out.
need to end that right there. But we are live on the internet. So
We're having a guest in studio.
it was not Delilah, just to let you know.
All right. I just the only female I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's going to bother me like all day and night who
Oh,
it is.
God, it's so many stories.
$8 million.
Yeah. I was crazy.
I don't want to name names either, but wasn't there a story where you guys got approached by a guy who had a trust that paid him every month, but he needed the money like 10 days earlier every single month?
Yeah.
And he came to you and he's like, I'll pay you back 10 days from now.
We're not doing that.
I wouldn't either. Hello.
Hello. Come on in.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Trouble?
Absolutely.
How are you?
Ooh.
Ooh, an
We know-
official binder.
you know we're
You need
serious.
you need to get a leather binder, though.
No, that would be far too fancy.
This is government in action right here.
Yeah. Well, part of it is also Kim and I have this running conversation that's been going on for years now of where does health technology and the fact of the matter is your computer, your iPhone, everything else you carry, it's all coming together.
Okay, hold that thought. Let me intro.
You need also. I think you should scoot back in the chair. Is that okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. These are our knockoff Shark Tank chairs.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
half as fancy.
Okay.
But they're very comfortable.
Yes.
Did we lose his mic? Okay.
All right, let me
worries.
do the intro. Hey, it's Kim Komando Today. It's your fun podcast about all things digital. And don't forget to like, comment, share, because, here's the deal. There's big tech, and then there are big tech algorithms. And the big tech algorithms say that if somebody likes, comments, shares, and follows and does all that great stuff, is that it's good content, and more people want to see that. So then we get to go to the front page at youtube.com.
And it's working. People are doing it, and we're gaining followers every single day.
So don't we have to say something like smash?
No, just say subscribe and then
Subscribe.
pause. Because when we pause, the little subscribe button lights up.
Subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button. Now
Hit that like button.
There we go. Now we've done it. Congratulations to us.
Okay, yes. All right. I don't know if you noticed, but there's somebody between us.
I didn't mean to come between the two of you.
It's fine.
You have. Of course, this is David Schweikert. David, how long have you been in Congress?
Sometimes it feels far too long. No, about a decade.
That's all. I thought it was a lot longer.
No, well, look, okay. one in 2010. So
14 years.
yeah, 14 years.
Okay.
One of the things you learn is it takes years before you actually start to get enough authority, seniority.
Sure.
Where you hold a chairmanship, where you actually get to be on the committees that have influence.
So when you first get to Washington,
Yeah, you get to be like on the subcommittee of the subcommittee on, trash collection.
I was going to say
on
trash
the Capitol
collection.
Hill. Yeah, and there's a certain truth there. I mean, unless you're, and look, there's certain hierarchies of, the speaker particularly likes you, or you're in a difficult district. Let's be brutally honest. Much of Congress is not a meritocracy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to be there a little while to get to those things that you're actually good at.
So are there like parties and like meetings that if you get invited to, you're like, yes, I'm there.
In some ways, the meetings are the problem, because one of the things that's happened is you have these things called schedulers, which their job in life is to make your life miserable, and they schedule you every 15 minutes, and you go to another meeting, another meeting, another meeting, another meeting. And it's often people that have legitimate issues with government, or they want something. Most of them want money,
Okay.
or want you to regulate their competition.
That's fun.
It's the economic term is rent seeking, but it's shocking how much of Washington, D.C. is trying to almost put up barriers to the next best thing. And that's actually part of what we're going to talk about. And so you go through this sort of world where what happens if you're scheduled constantly? So your first meeting's at 7 a.m. and your last one's at 9:30 at night. When do you read?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you learn that the way you've been doing something, the way government does something, the way regulated industry does something is now out of date because of a breakthrough, because of a cure for a disease, a new type of technology, new types of sensors that are available. And there becomes one of the things I think is a real fragility of the way politics and Congress works, is there's not a lot of time to read and think.
So it sounds like you're saying the federal government is broken. Interesting. I hadn't heard that before.
It's even uglier than that. Oh God, you've taken me down a very dark.
He didn't really say that.
It's just a one-liner, really.
You have a government that functionally borrows $80,000 a second.
Wow.
Every second of every day. $80,000.
80 grand?
80 grand a second. And it's going to get dramatically worse.
We need a pig butchering scam.
Sounds like what it is.
But the thing that makes folks mad is when you tell them the truth, because everyone has their conspiracy theory of, it's the Federal Reserve did this, or it's this or that. And then you go, no, from today through the next 30 years, 100% of the borrowing will be from demographics.
Explain that.
Yeah, what does that mean?
We got older.
Oh.
As a society, starting in 1990, we started having a lot fewer children.
Except for Elon Musk.
But in a decade, 23% of our population is 65 and up. And we have promises we've made. How do you finance those promises? And when so 30 years from now, we have 120 trillion of debt.
Right.
Most of that debt is Medicare.
Because
That's interesting.
people aren't having enough taxpayers out there to
Because
balance
the
it
kids
out.
are not.
It's both the demographics, it's the cost of healthcare going up, it's also the population that moves in, because they earn these benefits.
Right.
You earn these benefits. And so part of our office's battle is trying to deal with the clown show where my brothers and sisters on one side, well, if we raise taxes, well, every tax proposal, that's legitimately, it's offered, it's actually in policy, gets you about 1.5 points of GDP when you adjust for growth. Those of us who want to cut spending, I can get you about 1% of GDP in cutting in non-defense discretionary. So a big 2.5%. You're borrowing about 7% of the entire economy this year. The point being made is those who try to say, if we tax rich people, we'll be fine. It doesn't get you anywhere close.
Right.
For those of us, my side, let's cut. We can cut, but it doesn't get you close. If all the cuts stacked up, if you're only doing them in non-defense discretionary, it's about 1%.
Okay.
You're borrowing 7. And remember, a member of Congress only gets to vote on about 25% of spending, and we're borrowing about 30%. So every dime a member of Congress votes on is borrowed.
Right.
I'm not big on math, but I can figure out this is not a good thing.
And so, but almost no one will get behind a microphone and tell you that.
Right.
Because one of the ways you raise money, one of the ways you go out and get votes, look what's going on in the presidential race. Everyone's promising things. Now, we have no idea how it's going to finance because, some of the proposals for the tax hikes and those things from our brothers and sisters on the left are a fraction of a fraction of the amount of spending it's being. So our fixation is, it turns out, technology. What would happen if you could crash the price of government using technology? And a lot of people get upset with that because we're sort of trapped in sort of a stagnant mindset. But there's a reason you didn't go to Blockbuster Video last weekend.
Yes, exactly.
It turns out it was scary not to go get your little silver disc on Friday night, and the one you wanted was never there anyway.
No.
To have a world where saying, hey, maybe going home and having the entire world movie catalog on my.
Yeah, they tried to sell it for a while. Because they came and pitched us. It would be like $20,000 a month, and you could have any. This is like when Blockbuster was still around. It's like $20,000 a month. You could have any movie that you would ever want for the rest of your life. I'm like, and of course Barry's like, oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah. we need to disclose to everyone. Kim and Barry have been friends for a very long time.
Yes.
We were much younger, much poorer at one time.
And we were a lot better looking too. Well,
I barely changed. And you always look amazing.
Oh,
you always look. Seriously, some point you'll give us your secrets. So, okay. I'm shocked. But let's be really serious here for a moment. What would happen if you could crush, flatten future debt and stabilize? Now, you're not going to pay off the debt. But people tell you that it's just demographically, almost mathematically impossible. But you could stabilize it so it sort of matches the growth of the society, growth of the economy. And healthcare is the primary growth driver of debt. And so I'm the senior Republican on Joint Economic Committee. So I have a handful of PhD economists that work for me. I'm number 4 on Ways and Means. And so we're blessed. We have some really smart people who think very creatively. So the technology you can put on your body that, like, I just grabbed one right here that would calculate your calories or the blood glucose, or if diabetes is 33% of all healthcare spending.
Well, we need to stop that from the get-go.
But it turns out you now have the technology that's going to be in the watch, the thing you wear, the thing you lick, the thing you might be in your toilet, this and that. You can actually have a medical lab attached to your body. And your phone actually becomes, now with AI and the quality of some of the algorithms.
Well, yes.
And it can be, as you know, expertise, it can be incredibly private, encrypted, so it runs just with you. In many ways, it's much, much, much more private than the paper file that's at your doctor's office that, the minimum wage clerk is able to pull the piece of paper out.
But with all the recent breaches, data breaches, is that, and I showed Barry this, and he's like, wow, you can really do this, is that, you can have all your health records right on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you just hook into Epic, and you can have a 600-page PDF file of everything that ever happened to you. And then also the wearable technology is now saving lives. Which is phenomenal.
You saw what happened, was it Apple, the next generation of watch, just got certified as a medical device for the heart. And so how do I get the bureaucracy and members of Congress to think differently, that being able to use technology to crash the price of healthcare, to take care of yourself. And some of this upsets people, but we did a lot of data work. And I get booed at some audiences for this one, but the Joint Economic Republican economists, we spent months and months. What's the cost of obesity in America? And it's uncomfortable to talk about, but we had something horrible going on. We calculate in about 4 years, 50% of Americans will be obese. We calculate it could be as high as an additional 9.1 trillion in healthcare. In 15 years, the United States has more deaths than births. I think we're heading towards probably the 5th year in a row where prime-age males are dying younger. So how does someone like me say, the debt scares me to death, but there's a moral way
Now, have you
to
ever
fix this?
Have you ever looked at the healthcare in Japan?
Well, we do. Actually, we have data from lots and lots of countries.
Oh, the reason why I bring it up is because I read a story yesterday, and since I went to Japan in March, I've been obsessed with Japan. I mean, I'm just saying, because I mean, it's like that country, from my standpoint, as an American, you go to Japan and you come back and you're like, we are a bunch of immoral heathens over here. I mean, just.
But think about, have you ever talked about what you ate? Isn't the food is stunning?
It's fish. Okay, it's all fresh fish, fresh vegetables, things. But in Japan, every citizen is required to go for an annual exam.
Yep.
And they measure your waist. And if male, female, if your waist is bigger than, I think it was like 34 inches on a female or whatever it may be, that you are required then to go and exercise and meet with a nutritionist.
And I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it, because as Americans, we're
not going to do that.
We also still sort of like freedom.
Yeah, but also McDonald's came out with their, today they came out with their biggest hamburger ever.
Oh.
I mean,
It's only $39.
I suddenly have a craving for a burger.
Yeah, sorry about that. I digress.
But where I'm going with this is, you have optionality now in technology, except for, okay, I'll give you, let's do this more as a storytelling, a thought experiment. A few years ago, Duke Science professor, materials science, she'd been working on this thing where you blow into it. So let's pretend it's a flu kazoo.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You blow into it, and it pick up, I guess it was picking up dead DNA strips or something like that, but tell you if you had a virus, or tell you if you have. So you blow into it, it bounces off your medical records on your phone. Should that be allowed, if it's FDA approved, highly accurate, should it be allowed to write a script for your antivirals? Should Lyft be allowed to drop them off?
If the technology is good enough, why not?
Yeah.
Except that scenario would be illegal in America today.
Why?
Because the algorithm would be writing the script.
Oh.
You have the federal reimbursement laws, the state licensing laws. We have lots and lots and lots of barriers. Telehealth was one of the most controversial things in Washington, D.C. before the pandemic.
Really? Why?
There was stunning amounts of money being spent to stop it. And I know I was one of the prime sponsors of what we call telehealth today. And partially because it changes the economics of the urgent care center, the emergency room practice, and so often it's not the medical community, it's the investments into it that are very concerned that they're going to have fewer people walking in the door.
It's a money train.
Yeah, it's always, look, DC is always about the money.
What's the biggest hurdle? If this is something that could be implemented not only to make our Americans' lives easier, but save a bunch of money, what's the biggest hurdle? Is it the uninformed people that are going to make the decisions on it? Is it the big money healthcare that's going to pay as much as they can to stop it? Because that will affect their wallets?
Oddly enough, you have to think much broader.
Okay.
Because sometimes what shocked me, it's not healthcare that's often lobbying against some of these things. It's incumbent business models. Maybe the investment group that bought the urgent care centers.
Okay.
So now, but they need people walking through the threshold.
Sure, they got to make a return.
they gotta make
So what would happen if the people walking through that threshold now can use your phone or that iPad and call it telehealth?
You don't need it.
So now let's leap to the next generation. What happens when telehealth isn't telehealth, it's digital health? Do you need to be talking to a person? Could you talk to an avatar for basic things? Could you, have things on your body that actually provide the data? What is better data for you to stay healthy? The last 24 hours of constant monitoring, or things that are in your medical record that are a decade out of date?
And your doctor, your doctor gives you 10 minutes. Tell me what's wrong with you. And in 10 minutes, they're like, okay.
And so there's this argument that if you want to save America, if you want us to live longer, more prosperous, and be healthy, and deal with the crushing debt, remember, the bond market in many ways is the most influential group in America now, because we have to sell. This year we will new issuance and refinance $10 trillion of U.S. debt to market. And so I'm trying to build you a unified theory. And we've just talked really on the healthcare side, but we've been working on projects of when you call the IRS and you call and can't get someone to pick up the phone. What would happen if they used an IRS-centric, tax code-centric chatbot, and it would stay on the phone with you? It would actually send you a text of the document you need. It would actually give you a link for the YouTube video that you need to show you how to fill out the form.
It's easy. Why don't we do that?
To their credit, I chair oversight and Ways and Means, and that's been sort of the running experiment with the IRS. But there's so many other agencies saying, instead of having me have a person, you could have technology that sounds like a person. It's easy to understand.
For sure.
Has the entire library of the documents and things I need, could walk me through it. So what would happen in a model if you could cut the cost of the federal government dramatically by using technology?
If you implement it in one program, like you said, the IRS, and then just multiply that to every single spot in the federal government. And the states.
So you won't remember, but a few years ago, I actually made you watch a little YouTube video I had done. It's like a cartoon.
Oh, I remember
it's about
that.
a minute and a half about crowdsourcing environmental data.
Yeah, no, I do. I remember that.
So
I do. I thought that was a good idea.
One of the ideas is, we all walk around with that supercomputer we call a phone. Mm-hmm. There are now things that Bluetooth, attach, this and that, where you could do, have a couple hundred people in your community or a few hundred people in your community just doing crowdsourcing environmental data. If you have some clowns painting cars in their backyard without a booth, it would catch them immediately. But it would change society from the standpoint of if I, in the motorcycle paint shop, and I'm following all the rules, filling out paperwork and shoving it in a file cabinet and doing all the auditing and this and that, does that make the air quality cleaner? Or could it have a system where you just catch the bad actors instantly?
Isn't there a weather station that's now doing that?
We are starting to crowdsource weather data, but it would require a revolution of thinking of changing the EPA, your local county air quality, saying we could just crowdsource the data and you enforce on the sinners and leave everyone else alone.
But then you're going to have people say like, oh, this is, you're infringing on my rights.
No, just what rights? You don't have a right to pollute the common, as just sort of a libertarian economist, and the right saying if I follow the rules, I should be left alone.
I'm just saying that you're going to get that other side.
Well, what you actually get is incumbents of we're the engineers that make money every year going and certifying the scrubbers in your business, or you just put us out of business because. Or the bureaucrats that make their living shoving paper in file cabinets.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, look, you started to ask the question, how do you revolutionize government to make it better, faster, cheaper, and much cheaper, and we all get to be healthier? And you have to have first people stop being scared of the technology.
Mm-hmm. Which they are.
There's
some of the crazy discussions I have with people on AI.
Yeah.
They're not understanding a stack over here or generative AI over here.
Yes, they don't get it. They're afraid that the robots are going to take over the world.
And there's those incumbent businesses and bureaucracies out there that are incentivized to feed you crap, to feed you information. Be scared because we like our business model and our pensions. But think about this. In the last couple months, AI has discovered a whole new category of antibiotics.
And cancer vaccines.
Oh, yeah. That's actually one of the articles I have here of the melanoma cancer vaccine. The fentanyl vaccine that's going into phase 2 trials that actually attaches the protein so it can't break the brain-blood barrier. If you're losing 80,000 of our brothers and sisters in the country to fentanyl overdose, what happens if you cut it in half? I'm trying to find a way to say it's great economics. It's also moral. Deal with your personal fears, read more, and see there's actually really good things that could happen if I can get the policymakers to actually join us in this century instead of still wanting to go to Blockbuster Video.
Are we at the point that we either adapt or die?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You're at a moment where just the financing costs of government. Remember, interest is now the second biggest expense in the federal government.
Correct.
Yes.
Defense is now number 4.
I was going to guess defense was number 1.
No. Social Security is number 1. Medicare is number 3.
What's number 2?
Interest.
Oh,
Interest. And it's going to continue to get worse and worse. So I love the brain trust that often, I'll be at a meeting and they know what they know because the politicians have lied for so long. And I mean that as brutally as I can say it. If we just cut this, we'd be fine. And then you say, okay, let's do an experiment. Let's get rid of every dime of defense, get rid of every dime of what we call non-defense discretionary. You still have to borrow like $400 billion, and you just shut down the government.
It's still a lot of money. Well, you know what? It's so wonderful that you're here, but we're going to run into a time constraint because I've got to do another show. I know. I'm sorry.
But thank you.
But you can come back anytime.
Yeah, and look, the reason I'm trying to almost evangelize, there's hope. There's really some amazing things, and you and I have talked about this. I do these floor speeches, and when I would do them a couple of years ago, I get like 12 people that will look at them. The last couple now are getting 1.5 million views.
Oh, see, it's fabulous.
So something is happening where I've learned the Kim Komando optimism of technology actually will make our lives better.
It can, and it does.
If we just be smart about what we adopt. I mean, generative AI probably needs to be designed in a box where it's separate. But a stack over here that's just an expert on reading my MRI scans, don't be scared of that. And trying to help the public and the people I work with in Congress
to see that,
to understand it's not all slash and burn. It's not all raising taxes. It's actually just changing the cost and doing it better, faster, cheaper.
And changing the patterns and changing the habits and knowing that tech is here to better our lives. Does it need some controls and constraints? Yeah, it does. I mean, we don't want it to fall off the rails.
Yeah.
But if we look at what we have right now, I mean, if you look at the iPhone 2007 to what we have now.
Right. Night and day.
And that's
crazy.
You make the point. And, being someone, I have hypertension. Can you imagine that with the coffee I drink and the fact I have little kids?
Which are they're so cute.
Oh, look, you know the story, but
so
we
adorable.
adopted, and I'm adopted, and it's greatest joy ever. But I'm an old dad. I need to live a long time.
You do.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons. So I'm going to actually, one of the blood glucose meters just went over the counter. So I'm going to experiment with that and one of the wearable wristbands that also collects other data. And I'm trying to be my own guinea pig. Well, I would argue the morality of that should be from the poorest American to those of us with assets to be able to start using the technology.
We got to introduce you to Brian Johnson.
Yeah, that would be an interesting
You know
conversation.
Brian?
Guy's trying to live forever.
Okay.
He's 46, 47. He says that he has a birthday once every 19 months. He says that he's the most measured man in the history of humanity.
We are learning some, I don't mean to get off of my synthetic biology interest, but we are learning some things on cell replication and how, the dying of a cell.
You should. You
DNA
know what?
can last much
Okay,
longer.
look him up,
I will.
and I can make an introduction. I invited myself to his house for dinner after he said he had dinner with Kim Kardashian. I'm like, oh, really? Like, whatever.
You get to be with all the cool kids, don't you?
You were there. He has a total crush on Kim Kardashian.
Who wouldn't?
I don't know. Her butt's too big.
Not big enough.
Do you know? I'm gonna get mocked for what I'm about to say. She could walk through the room. I'd have no idea who she is.
Yeah, you can mark for that. That's
You
accurate.
would.
Yeah,
You would.
good call.
It's.
Let me show you a picture.
Look, if it's not in an academic journal, I'm probably not reading it.
The exciting things are happening over at the Schweikert house. Thank you for being here, Dave.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, don't forget to sign up for my free newsletters. You want to head up to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. Join over 500,000 folks who are always tech ahead, not tech left behind in the dust. You don't want that. Again, sign up for free at getkim.com. We have to end the podcast here.
Do you want to do
because it's way long.
Do you want to do an audio split of that and just split up the?
They can do that in post.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can do that in post.
We're done.
Hey, everybody on YouTube, thanks for watching. We appreciate you being here. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button?
I don't know, man. He's going to have to tell us again.
Like the like button.
Like the subscribe button and make a comment about it.
And follow it.